Kotoko could just have an edge, considering that they, on the scale of things, have been, much more enterprising?
Look, I think they win this one. I'm very clear in my mind that Kumasi Asante Kotoko are, for all intents and purposes, the better team. If you look at generally, yes, they have not been consistent, but they have.
So if you say generally, it then means that it's a combination of form and others.
And okay. I will explain why I think they are favorites. Between the two teams, they have a clear path to goal. It is easier to describe the football Kotoko play. The players understand it. Yes, they have not been very consistent. They've had their problems. But when they click, they have looked a more cohesive unit than Accra Hearts-of-Oak, who conversely have looked badly coached, have looked completely disfigured for the most part of the season. The one thing that they had going for them, which was the defensive resilience and the fact that they had a brilliant goalkeeper in Benjamin Asari who was keeping clean sheets for fun, has also dissipated. So beyond that, you also have to look at the match winners for the two teams. Look, in Kotoko, Kwame Opoku and then Albert Amwa alone combined have more goals than the entire Accra Hearts-of-Oak forwards put together. And here's the thing. Kwame Opoku did not start the season. He only was registered for the second half of the season. Albert Amwa has missed about 5 weeks of football thanks to that injury that he picked up midway point of the season. Yet, the two of them have got more impressive numbers than Accra Hearts-of-Oak. What's more, Kotoko also have got the bigger personalities who traditionally you would need for games like this. So, just to explain this part, often when we talk about the fact that the Hearts Kotoko, the Super Clash does not follow form, that it does not really follow logic, it is because in those dispensations where we came to believe that there were ridiculously good players who had strong personalities and the right temperament. So they would go through a sticky wicket. They would be out of form. The team will struggle. They would not be getting some good results before the Super Clash. But once that game comes along, they flick on the switch and they show up and they deliver. That is why you can go back into history. There are countless examples. Stephen Odro had not played football for a year when he had that protracted
the legendary
transfer.
Stephen Odro, you mean?
The legendary.
Yes.
When he had that protracted transfer, triangular transfer, if you like, between RTU, Goldfields at the time, and Asante Kotoko. But in 2001, in his very first Super Clash, we saw that wonderful goal he scored against Accra Hearts-of-Oak in what was an all-round brilliant performance. Right? 2008, Hearts-of-Oak were struggling. They had issues on the pitch and off the pitch. Eko Gansa, who they had signed from Buson Doves, was one of those players who had a contract standoff with the management, and so he had packed bag and baggage, moved to Cape Coast, and was somewhere relaxing. But in the week preceding to the Super Club, and this story is according to Kwabena Boafo, who was captain at the time, the elder statesmen in the team, the senior players, came together, had a conversation, and said, whatever our issues are, Kotoko is a team they cannot lose to. And they knew the strength of that Kotoko team. And just to remind our listeners, that Kotoko team was the last Kotoko team to have played in the semi-final of any CAF organized competition since 2005. That was the Bashir Hayford team, right? They won the league, made it to the Confederations Cup group stage, made it all the way to the semi-final. That was the season. They had Eric Bekoin, they had Daniel Nieje, they had Samuel Linkum, and the whole pack of them. What did Hearts-of-Oak do? They had that conversation. The players decided that, you know what, we'll discuss the contractual issues later. But for this game, we have to turn it up. It was the game many people expected Kotoko to wipe the floor with Accra Hearts-of-Oak. But Don Bote showed up. Eko Ganza showed up.
The serial killer Don Bote.
So when we talk about the fact that this fixture does not follow logic, it is true, but it has its context. It is not for every generation. This one, it will follow logic because Accra Hearts-of-Oak, and this is the final point of why I think Kotoko will win this one. In the last 4 consecutive matches, they have approached this game with a certain fear that is uncharacteristic of the club. In the past, we've always believed that when it comes to Hearts, even if they are not playing well, when Kotoko come to town, Hearts will show up. They may not necessarily win, but they will put together a performance that will silence their critics. They are competitive. Unfortunately for Hearts, in the last 4 super clashes that we've seen, they have looked listless, they have looked heartless, they have looked insipid, they have not been competitive. And they have made high-profile errors in each of those games. All of those errors led to goals that decided the outcome of those games. When you have repeated scenarios like that, it goes to tell you one thing. The team that is making those errors, that is panicking at every turn, they are afraid of the opponent. That fear is not born out of the fact that they know that Kotoko are better or of how good Kotoko are, right? Because, I mean, to be fair, the two of them are no worlds apart. Kotoko have got they are practically on the same level. The two of them are no worlds apart. There's a reason both have not won the league and both have not won the FA Cup in 2 years. There's a reason both have not been competitive, right, in that period. And so it is not because Kotoko are operating at a level never seen before. But that fear is born out of an innate admission that they themselves are not good and perhaps do not fit the Hearts of Oak standard. That is why, and if you look at the errors that have been happening, it is happening to the most experienced players and the so-called best players in the Hearts of Oak team. Ben Mensah, at the time he made that error, was it 2 years ago or last year, he was about the most experienced player in the Hearts of Oak team. Kelvin Oseasibe is about one of the highest rated centre backs, if not the most highest rate. But he's making high profile repeat. He's made 4 in the 2 years that he's been at Accra Hearts of Oak. And that is why, for me, I think that psychologically they are not up for it. Form is against them. And even as if you look at the league table and their home form, Hearts of Oak are one of the worst performing home teams in the league. They've played 14 matches. They've only managed 25 points from 14 matches at home. Those are their numbers at home. In terms of goals scored, Hearts of Oak have scored 12 goals. That is less than an average of a goal every game at home. That's not acceptable. And that is why, if you're a Hearts of Oak fan and you're listening to me, as harsh as I may sound, as dismissive as I may sound, those are the facts. That is Hearts of Oak's recent history. Interrogate that and see if it gives you any confidence, or if any Hearts of Oak fan should be confident with everything that I have said.
Victor Achutamaklo with the hard facts there, and he says that well, it may sound harsh for the moment, but these are the true facts which are there and written for everyone to see. So let's get on the league table and give you an idea of what it's looking like at the moment, just in case you haven't chanced on it in a while. BBNE Gold Stars are there at the top with 53 points. Nations FC with 51 points in second place. Lions and that is Kwandu-based Heart of Lions with 50 points there. Kwandu have performed pretty well upon their return to the Ghana Premier League. Kudos to Dr. Randiabi and the whole squad, the whole team, the technical team and everybody. They've done a marvelous job. So BBNE Gold Stars, 53 points. Nations FC, 51 points. Kwandu-based Heart of Lions with 50 points. And then Asante Kotoko, who also have 50 points, but a lesser goal advantage. So Kotoko and Lions, Kwandu-based Heart of Lions, tied on 50 points. Mediama in 5th, Somatex in 6th, and Accra Hearts of Oak in 7th. So realistically, if BBNE Gold Stars are fluff it this weekend, and Asante Kotoko win, and maybe Nations FC also fluff it, then we could be in for what will be a very, very interesting and exciting
the two teams, just before you continue, next week, Kotoko are hosting Dreams at the Babaya. Around that same match week, Gold Stars are supposed to play in Swatreman, so they get a walkover, 3 points. Then the week after that, Kotoko hosts Gold Stars.
Maybe that could just be the league decider.
Yeah.
Michael, you've been monitoring all of these, and it's a rather exciting end we're getting to this Ghana Premier League. Now let's talk about the situations within the two clubs. Here's a Ouattara who keeps encouraging, he keeps pushing, and keeps huffing and puffing. It's been a topsy-turvy turn for him. But you look at Kumasi Asante Kotoko, who did a little switch, and things seem to be, turning towards the positive tide for them. What difference do you think an Abdul Karim Zito will make when it comes to executing the job? He's been there before. He's been in the saddle before.
Yes, Mr. Nat. I think, first of all, Coach Abdul Karim Zito was now appointed to be the head coach of Kumasi Asante Kotoko. He was actually appointed to be the technical director of the club. And before he even joined the club, he spoke with Dr. Prosper Nathaniel some few days. I think the deal was actually sealed when Kumasi Asante Kotoko played against Bechem United at the Babara Sports Stadium. So literally, he thought he was coming to work with Coach Prosper Nathaniel, but unfortunately, things could not turn out as to how he expected it. So he needs to take over and try and coach
Michael,
the team.
But before you go on, I want you to tell me where you stand on this particular arrangement that we have with our clubs. Out there, it's a very simple structure. We see it work where you have a technical director and you have a coach manager, and the structure works. Everybody has what the Constitution describes as separation of functions, of separation of powers. But here in this country, immediately you hear the designation technical director, it becomes a means to an end where, the management of the club wants to just find a way of getting rid of the coach, isn't it?
When we are using Kumasi Asante Kotoko as a perfect example with the said situation that I was trying to talk about, you would understand that this time around, they were more focused on making sure that the organizational structure and the line of authority within the technical aspect of the team works so well. So in this aspect, there were several communications that went on between Coach Prosper Ogum and even Karim Zito before he joined. So you could understand that they had a clear intention of appointing Karim Zito as the technical director, not as someone who is coming in to come and take Coach Dr. Prosper Nate's job. But I know that behind the scenes, Kumasi Asante Kotoko were speaking to Coach Sika Akono and Maxwell Konadu to be the head coach, in as much as Karim Zito is coming in as the technical director. But the time frame and the decision making and a lot of things that have gone in would mean that Karim Zito will need to finish the season with Kumasi Asante Kotoko as the head coach, playing the last few games in the league and also the semi-finals of the FA Cup. And if they should make it to the final, he plays that particular final. And I've been to the training grounds the whole of this week. I've been monitoring what they are doing. I've been looking at what they are trying to get at. And then I think the most important aspect of their training has been about endurance, high intensity at the training grounds, trying to press here and there, doing a lot of physicals, trying to make sure that these players can last longer whenever they play games. There were several complaints that went about around this Kumasi Asante Kotoko team that they were too lazy. And whenever they play in and around the 50th to 60th minutes, they begin to get tired. And Coach Abdul Karim Zito on Monday gave them a rest after their game against Adriana Stars. On Tuesday, it was all about intensity pressing and more or less hard side training, physical trainings. Wednesday, he did the same thing. Then on Thursday, he did a lot of ball work with them. And on Friday, they played a friendly game before this morning, moving out of town. He has been so much clear with his message that he wants to win. It's not about playing beautiful football. It's not about pleasing any other. They need the 18 points, and they actually believe that this House of Folk game is a make or break for them. Looking at the table and the kind of matches that the Gold Stars will be playing this particular weekend, Nations will be playing, and Heart of Lions will be playing. It's a home dominant league. So more or less, if the Gold Stars is playing at home against Karela, be rest assured that is about 70% or 80% probability that they are going to win the game. When you look at Heart of Lions against Samatex, the same thing. And you look at Nations and Accra Lions, is the same thing. So Kotoko feels that if they want to keep on being in the race for the league title, they will need to get a win at all costs against House of Folk. So the House of Folk game is a make or break. They know they'll be going to Gold Stars. That match will speak for itself. But right now, they believe that the House of Folk game is really the tough one. And Abdul Karim Zito sat down with the players before Tuesday's training. He spoke to them about 40 minutes, trying to emphasize on the importance of the game and the rest of the matches they are supposed to play in the league and what they need to be doing. And
Michael,
some of the
before you
mistakes are
continue,
really going to be
Michael, it looks like some of these, moments of pep talk have an effect. And like I always say, we're all referring to Abdul Karim Zito's words of not playing just the fine football, but scoring the goals. And it seems to have sunk in one way or the other. It seems to have brought a certain,
energy,
positive energy, and business-like attitude to the playing body.
It has. But what I want to talk about
Okay,
is the earlier question about the role of the technical director.
No problems. Before you go on,
Yeah.
let's just let Michael finish his point. Then
Right.
we come back to this.
Right.
This technical director position today, we'll break it down here. Michael, go ahead.
Yes, so I think Koroko is bent on beating Accra to folk, God willing, tomorrow to try and make sure that they keep up the pace when it comes to matching the BNE Gold Stars at the end before they meet them at the BNE. I think Koroko will be going to the BNE instead of the BNE coming to Kumasi. So that is really going to be a tough game over there in the BNE. The BNE also feels that the game against Kotoko is also going to be the deal breaker for them. But in all, the setup and whatever they are trying to do with their system and tactics and everything at Kumasi Asante Kotoko, it is quite clear that this team under Karim Zito will be known for more about 3-back or even 4-back in the next few games. Because you look at the training they do and most of the things that they do on the training grounds, it's either they are going with a 3-back or they are going with a 4-back. In a 4-back, you definitely have Henry Ansu at the back line. You definitely have Samba O'Neill. You definitely have Michael Sefa. You definitely have either Adrian Ajete at the right back or any other player that will come in at the right back or left back for Patrick Essiedu. Then in the middle of the pack, that is where the problem is. The other day, he sat Emmanuel Entry down for almost like 5 minutes, trying to talk him out of certain decisions he does at the training grounds and how it's reflecting his matches and how serious he needs to be, especially playing for a club like Kumasi Asante Kotoko. So in the midfield pair, looking at his team then, who is going to partner him, you see there Emmanuel Entry or Babaya, and he's trying to find the right balance for that particular midfield partnership. Then on the wings, they are missing Peter Amidiwapa, who is out with an ankle injury. But Saka Dauda did the light training during the week. As to starting this particular game is another question that we need to ask ourselves. But if he's not going to play, you will see other players coming in to help Kumasi Asante Kotoko create a great attacking force to face Accra House of Folk, with the lines being led by Albert Amwa and Kwame Poku. But with the 3-back, that is where you are going to see Justice play a lot of times when Kumasi Asante Kotoko switches to the 3-back. But it could be, from what I saw during this week, as the double pivot in the 4-4-2 system for Kumasi Asante Kotoko. They are really ready for this. They trained so well. Physically, they believe that they're in the right position. But Abdul Karim Zito said one thing at the training grounds, which sounded quite fun. He said he needs them to play 40% of what he has taught them at the training grounds. They should leave the rest to him. Then he's going to go the rest for Kumasi Asante Kotoko. So we are waiting to see what he has in store at this Accra. So he's one coach that has to focus on finds it difficult to beat. I don't know if you realized it. Even these days at Dream FC, you realize that whenever House of Folk plays Dream FC, it becomes a very tough game for Accra House of Folk. They really struggle against Coach Abdul Karim Zito's sides. And now that he's at Kumasi Asante Kotoko, he's bent on continuing with that particular tradition. And fight for them. They believe they can win the league and win the FA Cup. That is what they believe in. And this time around, the mood around the camp, they believe so much that this will happen. And it will happen at the right time.
Well, Michael Akomia of Wontobi Sports there. Michael, I'll be glad if you can align your audio. It looks like we're having a bit of a challenge there. We'll try to work it up from here as well. Michael Akomia of Wontobi Sports bringing some analysis on this super clash between Hearts of Oak and Asante Kotoko. Kickoff time is 3 p.m. tomorrow, and there'll be live commentary here on your superstation Joy 99.7 FM as we bring you the Joy Sports Arena here on the show. Also here with me is Victor Achu Tamaklo, also bringing us some analysis. In a bit, we'll be picking some of your messages, so please make sure to let them flow in. 055-11-11997. 055-11-11997. Okay, so Inko Joseph says, tell Achu Tamaklo that Inko said football has its own way of disproving logic. Okay, so tell us why, and you seem to be getting towards a certain, so maybe you're suggesting to us that Accra Hearts of Oak will surprise everybody. Well, thank you very much, Inko Joseph, for that message there. Remember, 055-11-11997. 7. Okay, Achu, let's get back to the subject of this technical directorship and how it functions in Ghanaian clubs. Whether it is the case or it's a fact that managements and boards use it as a platform to just cripple the power and the authority that coaches have, and make it, the pathway to getting them out of their respective roles.
Largely at a lot of clubs in Ghana football. There are only a handful of clubs who, in practice and in theory, have a technical director, well resourced and given the power to run as a technical director. And I'll give you a few examples. When you look at, you see the setup Ketekuriku and his friends at Dreams FC have been running.
Yeah,
that is what you would say makes sense to have a technical director, and they had one in Karim Zito, because it is not just one football club. So it is for in the Ghanaian context, those who actually work with the technical director are the ones who run the multi-club system. So the person and his friends or that group, they own 5 or 6 football clubs, or 3 or 4, right? And there is one head who coordinates everything technical at the club. So from player recruitment, from the kind of football they play, from coaches that they hire, they define the club culture, the football philosophy at the club, and all of that. It is the individuals who run those clubs, right? They are the ones who should be talking about having a technical director. But even there are limitations, because from what we've come to know, even for those who have 5 or 6 football clubs and have hired a technical director, it is not always the case that technical director coordinates everything technical at all levels. So some of the things that ought to be under their remits are not necessarily so, right? So for people like that, or for example, Ignatius Bafuiwa, when he was running Bafuiwa Soccer Academy and then in Swatraman and maybe other affiliate clubs that they had, right? For a structure like that, it would make sense to have a technical director. Unfortunately, what we have here, so when House of Oak brought Martin Koopman and then said he was technical director, and what Kotoko have done now, it is not consistent with, in the grand scheme of affairs, what we know the job to be and what structures permit it. In their case, it is always a case of we no longer trust the senior technical officer at the club, which in most cases is the coach. So let's just put someone there who gives us a second opinion, but is the boss to the head coach. So, as I indicated, if Zito is a proper technical director, and this is not a critique of him, if what Kotoko are doing is to create a proper technical directorate with Zito as the head, Zito's job would be to define the club culture. He will define the football they play. He will define the philosophy, right? The philosophy will determine the football they play, how they approach games, strategy, and all of that. Born out of that, then you will have the skill sets and the profile of players who are fit for that kind of football. So the technical director will determine all of that, so that when the club is recruiting, as we have all agreed, we will then see a certain consistency, right? That is why we're able to say that certain players are not fit for Mourinho's kind of football, or certain players are not fit to play for Barcelona, because generally we agree there is a distinct club culture, there is a distinct technical philosophy, there is a unique profile that you have to fit before you're able to play for Barcelona. So even for the untrained eye, they can tell you that as for Barca, if you are not press resistant, if you cannot pass the ball, if you cannot express yourself, you cannot play for those teams, right? In the same measure, Arsenal, especially in the modern era, under Arsene Wenger, we've seen that under Mikel Arteta as well. But everything I've described is a function of the technical director. So that person will be empowered to do that. He will be given resources because beyond defining the profile of players that the club should recruit, he is given resources to create a network of scouts, right? Who will inform the club that this player is available. We think they meet our specifications. So go and look at him. In fact, when Zito first came to Kotoko in 2005, there was something like that. Not necessarily a technical director, but there was a structure that had people like Karim Zito in prime positions where they could recruit for the club. He was assistant coach at then. Right. So due to that, and if you look at the Kotoko team that he was part of in 2005, that team had players like Michael Ofosu-Appiah. Ofosu-Appiah came through the Kotoko Academy. He was recruited as a kid into the Kotoko youth team, along with several other players. So others, and here's the thing, not everyone who's recruited into the youth team or the academy makes it to the senior level at that club. Others would have to find their way elsewhere. An example is Alex Asamoah. Right? He was from the Kotoko Academy, didn't make the grade, went to Ashanti Gold, became the best striker in the league. Kotoko bought him back. But generally, there is a certain quality that the people saw at the time that this guy, he has the quality and everything to play for Kotoko. So a few years of challenges, they probably then decided that, you know what, we have to move him on. But ultimately, the decision to recruit him into the academy was justified. It just went to show you that there was a certain consistency, right? So Zito has experienced that before. If Kotoko mean well, if this is not just a window dresser, and I am very pessimistic about this because nothing I have seen of the IMC inspires confidence, especially Menshia's posture to this particular IMC. It's been 2 years. Why is it that Kotoko still doesn't have a board? The board is supposed to give policy direction. Without that, every institution will collapse. That is how a proper institution is run.
Well, but we've had IMC's work for quite a while. And
it is wrong. The fact that we've done it in the past, and you see, here's the thing: if you do it and then you win an FA Cup or a league title, it does not mean what you did was right.
Before Opokunti was confirmed, he had to serve, within that capacity.
Yes, but I am saying that we, for so many years, have heard Menshia, have heard Kotoko, other chairmen, CEOs speak about the fact that they want to move the club from its old habits and run it as a professional entity. As I said here, I don't think it is conscionable. I don't think anyone can explain why Kotoko do not have a board. Right? If you have that, they will then clearly define and then resource every unit of the organization. So for me, that is my issue with the whole technical director thing. Because if indeed this is what you want to do, resource the money. And I think that, look, Zito already has a legacy as a Kotoko great. He won 5 league titles at the club. He won 2 FA Cups. He won the CAF Champions League on Genevieve. Right? So he's a cult hero at Kotoko already. But if this goes well, and you see, the success of his job is not directly tied to trophies, at least not in the short term. It is in the cultural reset he can engineer. He can only do that if the club gives him the power and the resources, because Zito on his own cannot employ a scout, because that person will have to enter into either a professional contract or a gentleman's agreement with the club. Because as for the scout, it's not everyone that you put on a salary. Some of them will just give you have a good working relationship with them. They will give you the first of refusal on any player that you see. But Zito on his own cannot start some of these processes. Right? So that bit is important. If you say you want to run the Kotoko Academy or the youth team, it has to be in consonance with Zito's vision. So beyond the words, beyond the promises and everything, it is important that we see this to be a departure from whatever it is that they wanted us to believe Kwesi Appiah was doing. Because I didn't see the value Kwesi Appiah brought to the team. I don't think any Kotoko fan can speak to. Yes, he's an experienced that. Yes, Ogum can go to him for an advice. But when you have people of the caliber of Kwesi Appiah, a midnight phone call and those conversations are not you expect from them. Equip them, give them the authority for them to properly engineer change in the club, right? Because I thought they missed an opportunity. Kwesi Appiah is running the Sudanese national team. He is on the verge of qualifying them for the World Cup. He is making it to the AFCON. That is the quality of brains he has. I mean, forget about everything he accomplished as a player, but we are beginning to see that his ideas are elite. It may not have worked at the Black Stars, but his ideas work, and they are working for Sudan. So when you have someone like that in your fold, we need to squeeze everything you can get from them. This laid-back approach will put this person as the technical advisor, then senior technical officer, then technical director. All of these window dressers. You have a club legend. Look, final point on this. The club legend in Karim Zito. Supporters appreciate him, they respect him, they will support him. Don't waste another opportunity. And then in 2 or 3 years later, Zito will leave. Then you have another. If you reduce Zito's role and his significance to just someone who will advise you on who your next coach should be, then there was no point in hiring him. Yeah.
Well, if you just joined us, we're having a conversation on Kumasi Asante Kotoko going up against Accra Hearts of Oak at the Accra Stadium for the second installment of the Super Clash. It's the biggest game of the Ghana Premier League, and today we want to devote some time to it. Later on, we'll be delving into the national under-20 team, the Black Satellites, and their exploits at the ongoing under-20 AFCON, where they've started with a drawn result against DR Congo. The question is this the time when Ghana can pick up a gold again and book a qualification spot for the World Cup? Well, there's a whole conversation about the juvenile blocks and how, we can re-engineer and rehash. So is this the time? We will be getting into all of that, but it's important that you send your messages and send your thoughts as well via 055-11-11997 here on the Joy Sports link on Joy 99.7 FM. Well, we'll pick some key sound bites as well, and after that we get into the projections of how this game should go to wrap that up, and then after that we zoom in on the satellites conversation, after which we'll have a conversation with the president of the Ghana Olympic Committee, lawyer Richard Akbukavi, here on the Joy Sports link on Joy 99.7 FM.
Congratulations to Joy FM and the Multimedia Group on this remarkable 30-year milestone. 3 decades of informing, entertaining, and shaping national conversations. It's no small feat. You have built a brand that continues to command respect, challenge thinking, and connect communities. And for that, you deserve every applause. From all of us as Media General, we salute your journey, your people, and your purpose. May the next chapter be even more bolder and richer in impact. Here's to 30 years of joy, and to the future you continue to inspire. FM and the Multimedia Group on this remarkable 30-year milestone. 3 decades of informing, entertaining, and shaping national conversations. It's no small feat. You have built a brand that continues to command respect, challenge thinking, and connect communities. And for that, you deserve every applause. From all of us as Media General, we salute your journey, your people, and your purpose. May the next chapter be even more bolder and richer in impact. Here's to 30 years of joy, and to the future you continue to inspire.
Of luck eluded them when they played. So I think it will be a difficult game because Hearts and Kotoko, as usual, is not like other clubs. When they see Hearts and Kotoko, you mean in Spain, Real Madrid and then Barcelona. And you know how the intensity, the zeal, the urgency to play and then so forth. So against Kotoko on Sunday will not be an easy game for both clubs because I'm lucky to be an ex-player that has played against them with the same club Kotoko, and then I've coached against them with Kotoko, and it's not easy. Even if you don't do well in the league, and you are able to beat Hasselhoff, I think the supporters somehow will side with you a little bit. So I know the game will be difficult, but Hasselhoff and Kotoko till after the 90th minute, you can predict.
Zito, Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Kwesi Asma of Hearts of Oak. Those words there, giving us an idea of what runs through the minds of the Kotoko and Hearts faithful ahead of this game. So we'll do some final thoughts on this game and then we'll move on to the next subject. Would get on to Zoom again and have the final words from Michael Akomia. Michael, a very interesting game indeed. I would like to see some very good patronage to top it all up so that we can have a wonderful game. This will be our colleague Ya Ampofon-Crest's first Super Clash as Director General of the National Sports Authority. And based on what was done, I mean, you know, some of the positive points that we took from the last Black Stars game, we're hoping that organization will go very well. But Michael, your thoughts on how this game would go generally and what you expect to happen?
I think this is going to be an open game. A lot of tension, especially looking from both sides. Accra Sofoko wouldn't love to be beaten by Kumasi Asante Kotoko for the fifth consecutive time. It's really not going to be nice for them and their fans. And I think Ouattara wouldn't want to be in the bad books. He's already in the bad books of some Hasselhoff fans. But I don't think he would love this to be the end of his tenure at Accra Sofoko, especially playing against Kumasi Asante Kotoko at this crucial stage of the season, where Kotoko wants points to keep up the pace in order to get to a stage where they can win the league. Kotoko, on the other hand side, will be looking forward to get a win at all costs against Accra Sofoko to also keep up the pace in making sure that they are going to win the league, as they've said in several occasions, during their training times, even doing team talks and a lot of things that have gone on. They've been saying that they know they can win the league and they are ready to push for it. But I think security should be top. Everything should be right on point. We should enjoy the game because at least the pitch is not the best, but definitely it's in a better condition than what you've seen due to the fact that it has been preserved for Black Star games. And we've closed a session of the stadium to also to accommodate at least 20 to 25,000 supporters who could literally come in and also come and help energize or put up a performance from the stands just to sing and cheer up their teams to make sure that we enjoy the whole full game. But let's go and enjoy quality too, especially from the playing body. We are going to watch Kwame Poku, we are going to watch Albert Amwa, we are going to watch Kelvin Osei-Sibe, we are going to watch Benjamin Asari, who is the current Black Stars #1. So we should be enjoying the game from these two sides, especially when it comes to quality football at the end of the day. No unnecessary gimmicks, no unnecessary tension, and most of these things. It's really going to be relaxed, and we are going to fully enjoy it.
Well. It's going to be relaxed and we surely are going to enjoy it. Michael Akomia there with some analysis on Kumasi Asante Kotoko versus Accra Hearts of Oak. Well, Michael, I'd want you to stay on for a few more minutes. I'll be coming back to you for thoughts on the Black Satellites and their exploits in the just started the 20 AFCON. But let's come to you, Achu, for our final thoughts on Hearts of Oak Kotoko.
I fully expect Kotoko to win. The only thing I would say is to our brother Yambo Ankara. Let people see a new NSA. Right. Yeah, there's been other league games that have been hosted there since he came into office. But this is different. This is the biggest fixture of the season. Let's not walk in there and see dusty seats again. Give people a different experience of the facilities. Yes, it will take a while to change the NSA's impression that the public has got of them. But some of these little things, I don't want to go in there and go into a stinking washroom again that has not been cleaned up, or dusty seats, or any of those, or the stadium where electricity is not working, or any of those things of old, right? But at least we seem to have a grasp of things now. Let it continue and put on a show tomorrow.
We're going to put on a show. We hope that the show comes on and everything goes well with beautiful memories and loads of goals. You know, those screamers that can pass for Pushkas Awards. So we sure are going to go now to Italy. And what's happening in Italy? I'll tell you about what's happening in Italy now. Well, the Ironman Challenge is happening in Italy, and we've got some 3 Ghanaians taking part in that competition. Amongst them is Ghana's Anita Solomon, and she is competing in swimming, cycling for 90 kilometers, and also the 21-kilometer run. So 3 events for Anita Solomon, who's just joined us for a conversation on how she's getting ready and building up to this very big one. Anita, good to have you, and how's it going so far in Italy?
I'm actually here with my teammates, Don Miller and Fifi. We got here on Wednesday just to get here in time to acclimatize and try and get some swim in the ocean. So today we've done all our registration, and we're just waiting for the big event tomorrow.
Walk us through how big the Ironman Challenge is when it comes to world sport and when it comes to trying to take part in some recreational activity for sport, and of course inspiring people who want to get into professional sport. How big is it? Draw the picture for me.
Let me hand you over to Michael Amankwa, aka Don Miller, and he can throw more light on
Very well. So Michael Amankwa, aka Don Miller. Michael, good to have you here on the show. I was just asking about how big the Ironman Challenge is in terms of who the numbers it draws from around the world for participation and all of that.
Yeah, hi. Thank you for having me, and we are excited to be on Joy sharing the good news. It's pretty big. Yeah, we have about 3,000 to 5,000 participants from all over the world. This is an event that is in 3 parts. You have the swimming, which is a 1.9 kilometer swim, and then you have the bike, which is 90 kilometers, and then you have the run, which is a half marathon, 21.1. And in all, you have about 8.5 hours to complete. And each activity has its own cutoff time. So for the swim, you have roughly about 1 hour and 10 minutes to complete the 1.9. And then on the bike, you have 5 hours and 30 minutes. Then the difference is what you use for the run. But the challenging part for us is that we all just started learning how to swim. We don't really know how to swim in the sea per se. And we are pretty anxious about that. But fundamentally, the reason why we are all excited about this is to promote wellness and fitness and taking care of our health. And regardless of your age, you should be able to do it. So I'm 54. Anita is in her mid-40s. Fifi is in his late 30s. And we are representing Ghana, so we call ourselves Team Ghana. We have our Ghana flags with us, and we have a lot of folks on social media also rooting for us. So it's a very big event here in Jesolo, Venice, Italy.
Tell me about how you got yourselves ready for all of this, because obviously, swimming in the ocean and all of that, the cycling and the run, they're all, very, very intense. How did you prepare yourselves for this?
Okay, well, to give you a backdrop, in November 1st, 2023, a team of us did a bicycle tour to Tamale and back. We did that in 5 days in, 4 days back, just to let people know that, look, as human beings and Ghanaians specifically, we are limitless. We can do anything that we wanted to do. So we cycled all the way to Tamale and back, and Anita was the only woman out of 6 guys to do that. So after that, and we did that to, create awareness for mental health. So when we came back, we were like, okay, what's the next big thing we can do to let people know that, look, Charlie, we are truly limitless and we can do so much. So then Fifi suggested that we do the Iron Man. And we all agreed to do it, not knowing what really it entails. So we've been training for 14 months now. So this is our 14th month. And we've been training at University of Ghana campus, 5 a.m., 6 times a week. So either we cycle and swim or, run and swim. And there are days where we do all the 3 activities. So we've put in a lot of preparatory work. But the anxiety really for us is on the swim, because as people of color, as you know, we don't like playing with water. But where you are most challenged is where you put in you put in your effort so that you can overcome and you can become a better person. And our goal ultimately is to really let people know back home that, guys, life is about living, your best life. It's about challenging yourself. It's about not being comfortable. It's about taking chances, obviously smart risk. And we're here to prove that, right? We don't know what tomorrow holds, but we believe the universe will see us through.
Very well. So all the best to you, and we'll be looking forward to seeing how well you perform. And all the best, all the best. Let's see how things go.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hold on for Anita.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Anita, we wish you all the best, and we trust that you're going to perform well and bring some good medals and certificates as well to inspire others to travel around the world and do similar. I mean, we have the Millennium Marathon coming up here in Accra, and it's going to draw some very large numbers as well. So we'll see how all of that goes.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Speak to you soon. Bye.
Asante Kotoko say, Asante Kotoko say, Asante Kotoko, Asante Kotoko, Kotoko yebeshe mamo. Yebeshe mamo. Asante Kotoko yebeshamu ako. Asante Kotoko yebeshe. Asante Kotoko yebeshako.
Okay, so that's for the Asante Kotoko faithful. As for the conversation about who has a better song, that one, it's been settled already. Achu, I hear you say something over there. What are you saying?
It's not a contest.
It's not a contest.
Not a contest. They know.
Okay. Who are they? Asante Kotoko do that this one.
I'm just saying. They know.
Yes. We hear. You know what I'm waiting for, right? So let's just wait for it.
play. I've not been fully convinced about the mentality of our junior generation, especially going through the ranks to get to the top and play for the Black Stars. Yesterday, for a reason, I intentionally sat down to watch this game to analyze three things. One, the quality we have at our disposal. Number two, the level of mentality these kids are having. Because we've watched our under 20 win the AFCON Youth Cup. We've watched them win the World Cup at under 20 level. And we saw different mentality monsters, and they were key towards rebuilding our national team and being one way or the other. Some people might say we're not successful, but I believe the stage we got to was a stage where many other nations would have loved to be. That is between 2009 up to 2015 or getting to 2017. You understand how influential the under 20 team was to the various national team at every single competition that we found ourselves in. But this time around, you look at this team and you could see raw talent. You see giftings within the team. But more or less, I doubt their capabilities when it comes to their mindset from being the team to watch out for. And understanding a lot of things of what is at stake to represent Ghana at such level. We may be enthused about some of their skill sets, dribbling here and there, creating chances here and there. But in the long run, the loopholes is clear. You can see it. Everything is just over there. And I think they'll need to work on a lot of things. And against DR Congo, we could have done a lot much better than what we saw. It's the first game. Someone might say that Ghana has slow starters when it comes to every single competition. And it's eating into our head where we could literally start tournaments on a very good note and try and get the results. Coach Desmond Ofe has his own issues, especially with the collapse. Look at what is happening with Clinton Diod, who's even yet to join the team. And then we've had issues around Aziz, Issa. We've had a lot of issues that most of these clubs don't even release their players. Jerry Afriye, CD logo is coming out trying to say a lot of things that is only going to play 2 matches. And I asked myself, we're a country of 30 million people, more than 30 million. We are a country where we have an abundance of talent. We are a country where we have everything at our disposal. But we need to go to a certain extent where clubs are even failing to allow their players to come and play for us in such a competition, and more or less try and get them at a crucial point of the competition where we can utilize them well and get a trophy at the end of the game. But let's see how they manage the pressure around the team, because there are a little bit of bright spots around this particular team. Yesterday, I enjoyed the Renaissance. I enjoyed players like Suleimana, who was very solid on the ball, power, pace. You look at his dribbling ability and what he does with the ball, he becomes so much happy. And I think going forward, these guys could do something and also put themselves on a certain landscape where we can discuss them and not being only talents, but they've grew whilst the tournament was actually going on.
Okay, Michael Akomia of One to Me Sports there with his analysis of the first game and how things went and what he sees us improving going forward. Michael, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having you here on the show.
Thank you to Mr. Nat. And Attoh, we have an unfinished business, so we know how to go about that.
Very well. Okay, so let's come to you, Attoh. Now, we want to project further into the tournament.
Yeah.
What key areas should we look at?
I was disappointed that we dropped points in that game yesterday. I was hoping that we would get another window of the opening day because, look, the satellites have always done well in this competition. I think between 91 and 2001, 5 straight tournaments, we won our opening group game. Even the last time the competition was held in Egypt, we beat Zambia by a goal to 0 to win our opening group game. I think that was in 91. But I would also be quick to admit that things have changed dramatically because if you put the last 2 competitions together, we only won 2 games. And if you think of the fact that we played 6 games across the group stage, that's quite disappointing. But after this, we expect the nerves to settle. Because yesterday, everything seemed rushed. It was after we restored parity that it looked like the team happened to be moving to their groove, and then they started knocking the ball around with a bit more precision. But I expect better in our next game.
Well, but talk about that then also brings us to the good news that emerged last weekend about the appointment of Kurto Kreku as the second vice president of the Confederation of African Football. A good move, a good turn.
It is, and congratulations to him, Kurto Kreku. I think the country is proud of what he has accomplished. He becomes the 3rd Ghanaian to get to that position. The first was the late and the legendary Ohene-Jan, and then Kwesi Antachi also got there. Now Kurto Kreku. We want to see him use his position to lobby and bring changes to the Ghanaian game. One of the things I want to see change is the calendar for even this very under-20 competition. One of the challenges we've had with clubs releasing players is because this competition is not on the FIFA calendar. That is why Jerry Efriye and co are struggling to get here on time, because their clubs are at liberty to refuse the invitation that has been sent. But if CAF rejigs its calendar and decides that we're going to have the youth competitions in the off-season or around the same time Europe and all of those other blocks have their competitions, you will then have access to your best players across the globe. You would not have to play the waiting game. Some of them will not be available through, because the Jerry Efriye thing, ideally, he should have been with the team right from the preparation stage. So that has to change. And I hope that as second vice president at CAF, that is something that is big on his mind. Secondly, the qualifying format for that particular competition itself is another thing that has to change. Look, this whole zonal format, it robs the continent of its best teams at the continental meet, because that means that only one of Ghana, Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire are going to be at any competition at any time. You get me? So it is going against the West African bloc, the WAFU bloc especially. And I do hope that that is one of the things that he would look into. But congratulations to him again.
Victor Achu-Tamaklo there, and at the right time would have a long conversation with Mr. Kurt Okreku, now second vice president of the Confederation of African Football. So it's now been agreed that this song will be the official, signature tune till we end the show. Talking about rising within the administrative space of sport, I'd also like to celebrate the story of lawyer Richard Akpokavi, who was elected duly by the Electoral College of the Ghana Olympic Committee to become its president for the next 4 years. This is a position he contested for the last installation but lost. Now he finds himself in the saddle, and he's coming in with some fresh ideas to continue from where Mr. Ben Nunu Mensah stopped it. All right, Mr. Richard Akpokavi, congratulations to you. This celebration is surely from Gambaga to Accra, as you, the Accras, like to say it.
Thank you, Nat.
Yeah, you have had a very long run when it comes to sports administration in this country. Your exploits from the association level all the way to serving at the Olympic Committee as its scribe, and now putting yourself up for the main thing. Let's begin with you as a person and how much gratification there is in achieving this feat for yourself as an individual. Let's look at you as the individual first.
Well, obviously, I'm happy to have assumed this position. As you probably know, I started with sports way back in time. I played football, of course. During those times, football was the main thing. Then I entered Achimota School, and once you get to that school, you get introduced to hockey, cricket, volleyball, basketball, swimming, other sports. So I got involved with sports big time in Achimota School. I took a liking to hockey, so I played hockey, played the school team, then moved to play the national team. When I was invited to join the national team when I was 16 years old. And then from there on, it's been played for the national junior team, captain the national junior team, played for the senior team, captain the senior team for about 10 years, and retired finally in 1994 thereabouts. And when I retired, I got into coaching, coached a bit, refereed a bit, and then got into administration. So from 2000 thereabouts, I've been involved in administration in hockey specifically, from the Greater Accra to a national level, member of the board, vice president, and then president, and then I moved to the Olympic Committee. So it's been a long journey, but a beautiful one for me.
Amazing stuff there. Now we want to look at the forward journey and, adding to what Mr. Ben Nunu Mensah has done over the last 8 years. Now, let's talk about the vision and the key areas that you'd like to immediately tackle as you communicated in your manifesto?
Well, I mean, my vision, the things I've said for the last couple of months is very simple. One, I want more athletes' involvement in what we do. The Athletes Commission must be empowered to be represented properly so that their voices will be heard at Congress, at our board meeting, and also on the various committees that we'll set up. So we just finished with a board meeting, and one of the things we'll be doing going forward is to set the processes in place to get the Athletes Commission fully involved in what we do so that their voices will be heard. We're here for the athletes, and we need to make sure that their voices are heard. That's number one. Number two, of course, is also gender. We need to empower the women. We need to build capacity so that more women will be involved. As you probably know, there are only 2 women on our board as of now, and I think that is not good enough. We need to do more to empower the women and to make sure that we build capacity so that more of them will be involved at our committee level, so that come 4 years' time, we'll get more of them on our board. We also need to empower the Women's Commission so that they'll do more work for the GOC. Another area we need to look at really is to see how we can be more united. There have been quite a number of challenges so far as our front is concerned. We need to be more united in what we do. And so one of the things we've been discussing is how to do that. So going forward, you'll be seeing more of us as a unit. As I said on the day we were sworn in, the election is over. We are now Team GOC. How can we work together to get things moving? So God willing, in the next couple of weeks, we'll be going out on a retreat, all the federation presidents, to talk about sports in Ghana, the way forward, what we can do better, how we can get things going so that our challenges, will be able to face our challenges and overcome them. As you know, funding is a major thing so far as the sports is concerned. So we'll be talking about these things when we go for the retreat. So when we come out of that retreat, we'll have a clear plan and know how we are going to execute that plan to ensure that in 4 years' time, when you are judging this Olympic Committee, you have clear KPIs to determine what we have done and what we have done well and what we haven't done well enough and how we can improve.
It's great.
What I want to
What
I want to say, Nat, is that all these are just my ideas. All the other people on the board, there are 18 of us, we've had different ideas. Some of them converge at a certain point. What is important is that when we go to that retreat and we come out, it's not going to be my idea or Malco's idea or Danso's idea or Otu's idea. It's going to be our idea, GOC's plan and commitment, GOC's vision. That's what we'll do in the next 4 years.
You have had a good run as a sportsman, as a coach, and as an administrator. You are well prepared for this role. Now, one very big bug that has been, that has been, confronting us every other time is whenever the Olympic cycle comes around, we find ourselves, having to do a lot of reactive, measures, and that goes to expose us sometimes, having had all the 4 years and we're just paying lip service and we never ever seem to prepare well. What will be the plan going forward in terms of relating to these sporting associations and empowering them from your end so that they ensure that we first of all secure good qualification and then also participate well after preparing comprehensively, just like all other friends who are in the Olympic movement in different parts of the world who start preparing immediately one Olympic Games event ends?
What you're saying is true, Nat. I mean, you know, because you're in this space, that, for instance, UK sports, immediately after Paris 2024, they were clear what they wanted to do, met with all the federations, gave them funding for the next quadrennial, the next 4 years. So it's important that we do that. Unfortunately, we are not able to do that because the funding is a huge issue. So what we want to do now is that we want to plan properly. Now, after our retreat at the end of May, what we want to come out with is with a clear plan. So that starting from the last quarter of this year, we have a clear plan as to what we want to do for the Athletics Federation, for the Boxing Federation, for the Taekwondo, Judo, and everything. And this is going to involve what are the sports that we are prioritizing, we want to support, because we're going to use performance to determine how we are going to do this. Some of the federations will have to qualify first. How can we support them? And what is the likelihood that they can qualify based upon past performance and based upon their route to qualification? There are some that will be more difficult than others. Let me give you a typical example. For instance, we know Rosie Yeboah is a top athlete in Africa. She's a high African champion. Her record is 1.97. At the last Olympics, I believe the one who won the bronze jumped 1.95. So if she had jumped at 1.97 at the last Olympics, she would have won a medal for us. If she's at that level, how can we support her? As you rightly said, we shouldn't wait for 2 weeks to the Olympics or something. What we want to do is that after we have put our plan in place, we want funding to support Rose from now till 2028. Which competitions will she have to participate in? How many, if it is 2 this year, 3 next year, 4, whatever, how much does she need to compete at this level? Does she need coaching support? If so, how do we support it? Does she need medical support? How do we do it? We want to do it in such a way that somebody like Rosie Yeboah, who we know has the potential to get us a medal, we make sure that in planning with Ghana Athletics, she doesn't worry about 3 to 4 years. So that's the kind of thing we are trying to do. That's why we are going to plan. We are going to take this to the corporate world, and we will need people like you and the media people to go along with us. Once we show you our plan, and you buy into it, and you ask the questions that you want to ask, so that together we are going to corporate Ghana. We don't want anybody to promise us that when we win a medal, they'll give us 50,000, 100,000. What we will be telling them is that if you have 50,000, 100,000 to give us when we win a medal, start the journey with us now, today. Be our partners so that we can train these athletes, calm them, let them compete, let them have proper diet, let them have proper medical support, so that in 4 years' time, when they are on the podium, you'll then be rejoicing with them and with us to say that these are the people we supported, and together we're able to achieve this. So that's the kind of thinking, and that's what we are trying to do. So, as you said, it is important that we plan and we start this journey now. So once we're able to put our plan in place and get funding for it, we'll be able to do this as well as we want to.
Lawyer Richard Akpokavi, congratulations to you once again, and it's our hope that you, based on your journey, will bring the rich experience to bear in steering the affairs of the Ghana Olympic Committee together with your team to achieve what will be measurable success in the future. Congratulations to you once again.
Thank you very much, Nathaniel. As I said, I hope I can count on all of you to support
anytime,
us,
sir. Anytime. Yeah. Anytime, as always. And we go way back, so anytime.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very, very much. My greetings to all your colleagues.
Sure, sir. Lawyer Richard Akpokavi, president of the Ghana Olympic Committee there. Some messages here. Ohineyiri Gifty Auntie has sent this message. I beg, Kotoko, we chant, we don't sing. True warriors chant. Hey! Tomorrow's game will be something else. Greetings to you, Ohineyiri Gifty Auntie. We love you so much. And we're looking forward to seeing you in your big jersey tomorrow. But Nana Sakwa, your husband, is he a Hearts of Oak fan? Looks like he's a Hearts of Oak fan. Oh. Also, Mr. Victor Tete says, Brad Nat, Asante Kotoko will permanently retire goalkeeper Benjamin Asari from the Black Stars tomorrow. It's a promise. Hey! Greetings to you, Mr. Victor Tete. Thank you so much for that message. Hey, my good friend B. B says he's a mighty T. The song from the legendary group Wulome. Some messages here as well to share with you as we wrap up the show. Okay, so I'll do my best to go through as many of them as I can as we get towards the end of the show. a long one here. Good day, Nathaniel, the man who has love for sports. I'm surprised we still refer to the current Accra Hearts of Oak Kumasi Asante Kotoko match as a super clash when you and I know that there is that any serious Division 1 side can beat both clubs in their current form. What is more surprising to me is why the board and management of Hearts of Oak continue to maintain Ouattara as head coach in spite of his performances. I pray that the board and management will sit up and give us a much deserving, competent playing body and technical bench to reawaken the Phobian spirit. Good old Ajiman Joseph says, Hearts of Oak is our girlfriends now. Okay, which one is that? I don't get it. Ajiman Joseph, thank you very much. So, are you a Kotoko fan? Okay, so Neil Alberto says, good afternoon, citizen Attoh. Congratulations to lawyer Richard Akpokavi on his feat. And he wants to encourage him to do a lot in terms of bridging the gaps between federations, and also he should listen more and get involved with a good strategy to raise the image of Ghana sports. Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate those thoughts right there. Okay, so thank you all so much for joining us here on today's edition of the Joy Sports Link here on Joy 99.7 FM. It's been a wonderful time. And why is it that today people are in a lot of light blue colors? Manchester City, today leave Liverpool to celebrate their league win alone.
It has nothing to do with that, my man.
Only Kwame, Charlie,
Yes,
how
boss,
far?
yeah, everything cool and
nice
crisp,
and easy.
man.
Were you at the launch of the Black Star Experience?
I was there.
Oh, tell me about it,
there.
man.
It was a
Tell
very
me about
beautiful experience.
Great stuff.
Seeing people from all the various aspects of the creative economy, tourism, art, and culture gathered to launch the flagship program for the creative industry was a very good experience. I loved it. But the thing is that it goes beyond just launch. We're looking forward to the execution of all the things they said they would do. You know, they want to use our food, they want to use our music, our film, and everything to project Ghana. And for me, we've seen a number of things initiatives in the past. We've seen the Joseph's Project, we've seen Panafest, we've seen Year of Return, Beyond the Return. They've done their best, but how best can we move, with this Black Star experience? And to me, that is what we should be thinking about.
Interesting stuff. So we're looking forward.
Today on the show, we have a one-on-one conversation with Mark Okrekumante.
Wow, amazing. I'm really looking forward to that. Mark Okrekumante, put everything aside, irrespective of which part of the political divide you belong to, is one who has traveled a very good journey in terms of growing himself in this industry. He's contributed. Sometimes when he's having conversations about certain aspects of music production, about promotion, about certain aspects of arts and culture, he knows what he's talking about. Of course, they always say that for those of us who are in the media, when we're given the opportunity in government, it's another question. Well, he will be here, and I'm looking forward to that conversation.
Have a lot of questions.
Including whether he would accept to go back and be a mentor judge.
You know that one.
The Honorable Mark Okrekumante, immediate past Deputy Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture, will be here. And of course, my man, the highest paid DJ in this side of town. Charlie,
never do show.
Don't worry, we go organize
highest
show for
paid way, never do show.
Don't worry. Relax for you go do show. All right, so Kwame Dazi will be here to bring you Showbiz A to Z together with the rest of the crew. A must-listen to one-on-one interview with some very good music and your views as well here on your superstation Joy 99.7 FM. Remember, Mother's Day is coming up, and that experience at Safari Valley will be amazing. If I tell you to say Safari Valley 10 times within 1 second,
I know where I come from. Don't try me.
All right, big greetings as well to the immediate past, Ghana's immediate past ambassador to Malta. Your Excellency Barbara Akoko Benisa, thank you so much for always doing the listening and being along with us on this 30-year journey. Salute all of you. Thank you all so much. I'll be back next weekend with another Joy Sports link here on Joy 99.7 FM. Kwame Dazi takes over. You stay with us as we bring you the best in terms of content right here. In the meantime, enjoy this one.
Gilbert Ampere of St. Augustine's College was born with a rare deformity in his right leg.
So when I approached her mother, he told me Gilbert came with one leg.
In medical term, it's called paraxial